are you, Congresswoman? How are you?
We're going to do a little something here.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you for stopping and talking to us today.
You're welcome.
So, this is all about faith and combining faith with success. So in what ways has faith been a part of your success, coming from where you were as a young woman to now being a congresswoman in the United States?
Well, I'm not so sure except to say this. I come from a huge family. I come from a mother who was religious, and we were raised in the church. I went to Sunday school. I went to the regular service. I went to the young people's service at 6 o'clock in the evening. And so in doing that, I learned an awful lot. And I think the 10 Commandments are very instructive. And so I kind of live by that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Coming from a place that seems like, the morals all over the place, it's important that we're grounded in a lot of ways. What words of encouragement do you have for young people when it comes to just staying morally grounded when there's not always the best examples that we're being, seen on television today?
Well, I really do think that at some point in time, people have to really understand themselves, and they've got to get grounded. And you've really got to be honest with yourself. Who am I? What do I care about? How do I feel about the homeless people? How do I feel about children suffering? What do I think about my government? When you examine these things and begin to find out who you are and what you care about, then that's what you need in order to move forward and to realize your own possibilities.
I love that. It's really about being independent, an independent thinker in a lot of ways. And I feel like there's somewhat of a movement in young people that's happening now where there's a lot of young people who are thinking for themselves. What are your thoughts about, people who are coming out? Even today, you had somebody like Kanye West in the Oval Office. Do you have any thoughts about somebody like him being in a position to speak to the President of the United States? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think that we have to understand as best we can what roles we play. And we have to understand, what's our lane. And, are we really best when we kind of stay in that lane? Or when we venture out of that lane and we don't understand what we're going into, whether or not that's going to cause us problems. And so I know about Kanye and the fact that he met with the president today. And Kanye told us he's got problems, and I believe it.
For sure. What are your thoughts about people like Candace Owens, who are kind of igniting a big fire, in the hearts of young people, not just black, but people all over the country? What do you think when you see this young?
I really believe in the Constitution, and I really believe in democracy. People have a right to think for themselves, to articulate, their thoughts, to protest, and all of that. So I am absolutely supportive of people who have something to say and they want to say it. Go ahead and do it.
For sure. Last question. I know you got to run. But when it comes to protesting, we're seeing so much of that taking place today. And you said some comments that kind of got a little bit taken out of context. I think when it comes to just people saying you were inciting violence. Eric Holder said something the other day when it came to. He said when they go low, we kick them. Do you have any thoughts about that? Because it seems like somebody potentially could get hurt if those kind of words are taken out of context.
Well, listen, I believe in protest. It's guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States of America. And had it not been for Dr. Martin Luther King and rallying and protesting, had it not been for organized labor rallying and protesting, for our rights or for equal pay, for benefits, all of that, we would not be where we are today. And so I think that we don't go around asking people, may I protest you? No. If you feel that you have something to say and you want to connect with the larger community and you want to be heard, then I think you should do what the Constitution guarantees, and that is exercise your right to freedom of speech and protest.
Absolutely. And like Dr. King, he was all about nonviolence, so I assume we should be doing
protest cannot be deemed violent. The only thing that can be deemed violent is if you touch somebody, you hit somebody, you shoot somebody. But if you're just talking and you're expressing yourself, that is not being violent. I don't believe in violent protests. I believe in peaceful protests. And I believe that the bottom line to all of this is you have a right to do it. And I shall not have it redefined by this president or anybody else.
Thank you so much.
You're
for your
welcome.
time. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.